Welcome back to Unpacked Suitcases, the last and final episode of our Blended Family series. And I have collectively our group of blended family parents here. I have Darius, Odell, Priscilla, and Ebony. Dove! So corny. So I wanted to start this episode off and for us to talk about and bring in more of the concept about Lil O and his impact on what he was going through as a kid. And you know, you're coming in into the situation trying to figure out what's going on with everybody, what's going on with him, and you know, getting to know her and all that all at the same time, and how we were able to kind of push through with that. Because the big thing with blended families is that it's room for everybody. Mm-hmm. All of us have a place with Little O. And I think when Darius came into the situation, Lil O was kind of going through that middle school, preteen drama, trying to figure himself out. He got used to taking advantage of our disconnect and, you know, capitalizing on that. So Darius came in with a totally different lens. And was like, oh, he's playing all of y'all, you know.
He did.
Yeah, he did. And the way you brought everything is everybody listened when Darius was talking because you didn't come in like trying to take over. You didn't come in trying to tell Ebony like how things, from my perspective, how things should be ran. He respected how you were handling things.
It's a total different energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was needed though. It was needed 5 years ago, but it was needed.
I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Why?
That's for me because, you know, it's the uncertainties, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm not certain on who he is, so and then initially I had animosity, but then once he came in with that energy, he was like kind of like, calm down. He didn't even say calm down, but how he was talking to me, I was like, you know, I'm doing a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Why do you have animosity?
Because it's the uncertainties. I don't know. Like,
okay.
I don't know.
Was it a man thing? Like,
nah.
It's another man.
No, it's not even that. Because like you said in the last episode, like it's never been about me and Abby. Mm-hmm. It's never been about us two, but you know, he was just new. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what he brought. So I was like, you know, I was just kind of unsure of it. Yeah. And when he came into the situation, he was kind of like, he kind of reassured me that what I was doing was the right thing. Yeah. Like that's the one time I was like, dang, I'm tripping. Mm-hmm. But then he kind of reassured me, you ain't doing the wrong things, you're doing the right things, keep pushing forward what you're doing, and kind of reassured me that I was still making all the right decisions, and it helped soothe the situation.
I don't think necessarily that you're making the right decisions, but I think...
No, I didn't. I mean, it's just validation that I needed, that you're not going to understand.
Okay. It's not, that may be true, because I wasn't checking for it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, hidden from another... He was hidden from a man, so hidden from you could be saying the same thing I'm saying.
Right.
But it's not the same.
Right.
It's just not going to never be the same.
I mean, he said that about when you did talk to him. But even when we had a scenario with Lil O, where we were trying to figure out what the hell to do, you know, how to respond or how to parent him through a certain situation, right? And it got to the point where me and Odell was like, we need to call Ebony too. Because this can't go on here, and then when he comes to your house, you don't even know. You know what I mean? Right. So we had to talk together. Mm-hmm. So you were included in that conversation, and we were able to kind of bounce ideas off of each other and not feel alone in it, and complain it together too, you know. Right. But I think Lil O going through his transition, and I don't want to talk about him in the sense where he's not here, but just as a child, he was going through his transition, forced us even more to not be concerned about us.
Yes.
And to realign that focus back to him.
The main focus was him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that was a good thing. Even though it was turmoil, it still brought us all together, strong though.
Yeah.
You did.
And that showed him something.
Yes.
Yeah.
It showed him
Definitely
that
did.
you can't play them kind of
games.
No more.
Now you can't break this bond.
No more.
Yeah.
It's
not
so
happening.
funny
It's over.
Yeah.
Because Darius would say something, it's like Odell Darius would say the same, like you have the different opposite end of the spectrum here. Because Odell is, boom, right? And Darius is like, I mean, he says so much with so, you know what I'm saying? Like it gets you. Yes.
It's so direct.
And so I think it's also good for him to see his mother be loved by, he definitely has, when you guys got married. You guys got married. Like,
also he was crying.
yeah.
He said he couldn't even talk. He was crying. So
Yeah.
He was crying. Yeah, he almost messed it up.
The whole wedding, just
almost
like
messed it up.
start crying because of little.
Do you understand why?
I do. I definitely do.
Yeah. And
He
you
was
felt
genuinely happy.
Yes.
And his mom was happy, and
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
a concern of his.
Yeah, and that's important for him to see Darius in that light as well. You know what I mean? That you don't just love her, you love everything that comes with her.
Right.
And we felt that. Like, I was like, girl, that's the one. I changed her name in our phone before you guys got married because I just knew that it was real, it was genuine, and it connected with us. And I think that's important too, that when you have a blended family, that you don't necessarily have competing personalities.
Exactly.
We already had 2 Leos.
Right.
So
that was enough.
me and Darius had to balance it out.
No, I
We had
agree.
to balance it out.
No, but I remember Big O calling me saying, "Man, I just love Darius." I was like, "You do?" He was like, "I mean, I love him." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I love him too."
Yeah, and I was like,
you gotta keep this. You gotta keep it.
and I told her when you said it, I was like, I said, yeah, because he a man though. So me and him can really talk and connect. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a man.
Right.
So that's the difference.
Getting your man together.
Yeah, just making sure he ain't exposing too
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Yeah, but he definitely came to me like that. He just came to me like, let me talk to you, and put me to the side. And we had a long conversation about a lot of stuff that was long overdue, and things that I worried about that he was like, I know you worry about this. He kind of told me, I understand from my father, from a man's standpoint, there's things that you question, and this is where I stand. So he kind of introduced himself to me, and that's something that you two didn't get.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't.
You two didn't get it.
Even you talking about it now, I cannot remember a time where I was saying, well, you know, as a man, Odell, I understand. I was so busy worried about what I was dealing with.
Right,
And I think
right.
Darius, you were somebody for him as well. You know what I mean? Like, he definitely has been a part of the glue for you two as well.
Yes.
You know, and your support. It's like I said, I think it's important for you not to feel like it's us against
me.
you. You know,
Right.
you came in that joint like, what? Okay, Darius, what? You know,
Right.
and so it's a
did.
comfort. You did do that, but it was good. It was a good thing.
It's good.
One thing I remember Odell telling me is that, again, going through raising a child and trying to figure out how to discipline, how to respond, and honestly, when you have a child, sometimes you take things personal that they do. Like, if they're not getting good grades, well, am I not presenting to them the right resources? Am I spending the right time? You know, you question yourself as a parent. And so I think some of the things that Odell has been going through in his path of growing up, Odell questions, especially because he stays, you know, he's been staying primarily with him over, you know, a period of time, that, you know, I'm present and I'm trying to give him this, but he's not receptive to it, or he's not acting this way. And, you know, years from now, it may show proof. But in that moment, you still feel it. And I had tears in my eyes when Odell said you called him out of nowhere and just said that you wanted to reassure him that, you know, you're doing good. You're a good father. I see you.
Yeah, because I didn't have a father, so
Yeah.
he was around, but he wasn't around ever. So I had to make sure that he knew that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I told Ebony the same thing. I said, when you allowed him to go stay with his dad, that was about the best thing you could have done.
That was huge.
I said, because I said, there's no need to feeling guilty later on. This, that. No, I
Yeah.
said, because you can't teach him.
Yeah,
You can't teach him how to be a man.
yeah,
I said, his father, the only one that can really do that.
yeah.
And his father's been instrumental in his life. He's supporting him with everything he want to do. So he's an example. And she was like, you know what, you're right. You're
But I
right.
knew that. I felt that too when I decided to, okay, Lil can go with Big O.
Yeah.
I know the type of man he is. I knew that he would make sure, regardless if he was with you or whoever, I trusted that he
Right.
would make sure that our son was okay. So, I mean, sometimes of course I'd be like, oh, I wish I didn't, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I feel like I made the right decision.
Well, I would try to reassure you too. That
Yeah.
As long as your intent behind it was to do something for him.
Yes, it was.
But it's hard because I think even though your intent was to do that, we didn't understand how to, or Odell didn't understand how to keep a connection with you
Exactly.
in that realm.
That's
We didn't
what
have
we
a
lost.
guide.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
We didn't have a guide.
It's not a guy.
No,
And
you're right.
it's definitely not.
It's not a book on it. It's
There is
nothing on it.
There is not one.
It's not a guy. You just got to work through it and just trust that you making the right choices.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you giving a lot and you're not receiving a lot in return for what
Yeah.
you're giving. So it's like the balance isn't even.
Right.
Like I can imagine the level of sacrifice you gave to allow him to come live with me.
Right.
I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine it, you know. But you gave that,
did.
knowing that it'll be good in the long run. But
Right.
you gave a lot with little reward initially. So
Right.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
How could
very
you
true.
have foreseen that? I don't know.
Right.
Well, she listens to, I think you have whispers, right? You have times where, even when we weren't doing good, right? Times where you would still call and include us on something or vice versa. It wasn't about us in some time, you know, in some moments, but you listen to your whisper and say, I'm okay with that. But I think it was also our job, and you have a supportive husband, to reassure you that your decision wasn't in vain.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And we also tell, you know, Odell, because he did go through a time where he questioned it. And we didn't know how to respond to that, you know, because we were going through our own idea of what things
Right.
should be
Right.
and all of that. But now we reassure him and say, understand why
Right.
she did it.
Right.
And I tell him, it's people who have horrible stories, who their mother, like you said, your father, you knew who he was, but he wasn't present.
At all.
Like, your mom shows up. You know what I mean? So just because it doesn't look like what you think it should look like
Exactly.
doesn't mean that it's. So I think it's a couple of things here that we have to make sure that we have an understanding. You know, like, if you guys are having a conversation about how to respond to Lil O, you don't have to always have a conversation in front of him. The same thing with us. Like,
We
we
had to
come
learn
together
that. We had to
collectively.
learn that.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah, that's definitely a learning process.
Yeah.
I think we had a big division here. I mean, we didn't know how to go through difficult
Yeah,
conversations.
we didn't know how to navigate. We didn't know how to navigate. But like Darius said, there's no manual. It's trial and error. A lot of times.
So what do you think is the recipe, or what, if we could look back at it? I do think sitting here all together, I don't think we would be here if none of us was here. I couldn't see it, right? But what do you think? I think I want everyone to share. What do you think was the key or the recipe to I feel like it's success. Like, I feel like we are connected. I feel like we all genuinely love each other. We cheer for each other. I would not have this podcast if it wasn't for you, you know, pushing me and believing in me. People don't see that.
Right.
Like, I don't get to post our conversation
Exactly.
when we still talk in the middle of the night. 3
3
hours,
hours.
you know,
Yeah,
about
I'm like,
every
3 hours.
Yes.
I'm on the phone.
We probably didn't really talk about Lil O like that, but we have connected as women,
Yep.
And if y'all not
right?
talking, y'all texting,
Like,
all crazy emojis,
yes.
all crazy gifts.
I'm
true.
fixing
I'm the
your
emoji
crown,
queen.
she is. I'm fixing your crown, you fixing mine.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're happy when you're successful, you know, like, collectively. So what do you think was key to that recipe for us being where we are now?
I think the main factor is communication, which we didn't have, right?
Yeah.
And then I never forget, one day I was talking to myself. Talk to myself. And I was saying, PJ, if even if she was not with Odell, would PJ be somebody that I would associate myself with? And I answered yes. She is cool, like cool-ish. She's dope. So I was just like, why? It's like no purpose. It's so much other stuff that goes on in the world, and this is kind of small to, you know. So I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna change me. I'm gonna look at me, and then I'm gonna fix this.
That's good.
So
I like that.
communication and just looking in yourself and realize what you have to do or what you can do.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that I can say that I had to check myself. I had to check myself too on playing into the cattiness of, you know, oh, this and that and blah blah blah. And me and you both talked about what we do have control over.
Yes.
Right? As if I say I'm Team Ebony, my friends, my crew is gonna be Team Ebony.
I
They're
had
gonna
that
support
conversation
you,
too
you
with
know?
family.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I like her. Okay.
Right.
So you like her too.
You gotta speak it into. You gotta speak it into existence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like even for me, I think about it.
fall
I think about it now. I'm like, you were here in this area the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people's uncertainty about situation, you had to hear all of that.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
Random people.
Yeah, that's
That was crazy, and I never thought that when people would come to me and say certain things, me not saying anything kind of fed it.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say, oh, nah, it's not like that. I just kind of like, man, it is what it is. So people had an assumption, and it'll grow from there. Negative, positive, and most of the time, just like society,
It was negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, I started to realize that, you know what, when people come to me, I say, oh, nah, we good.
Yeah.
Right.
We good. Oh, he living with me, he going back to DC next year with his mother, and that's what it is.
Right.
And we already established that.
Right.
Matter of fact, I just got off the phone.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, her and PJ just got finished talking. Oh, they talk? Yeah, they talk.
yeah.
Yes, we do.
See,
Yeah.
that's a lot of positive stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
a lot of
not ready
people-
for that.
No.
They're not ready for that. They want all the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to be mature enough to come to that.
Yeah, we all did.
I had to
grew
be
there.
mature,
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't get it just like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The seeds that's been planted, we had to water them.
So that's some strength.
Yeah.
For you had to be the person that you are to be able to withstand that, because everybody can withstand it.
Nah.
But that's a level of criticism that you get constantly.
And you're a
It
Leo.
might even be in a look. It might not be even in nothing they said. They could just be looking, and you like, I can even feel the energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I didn't think about it.
Because being that we grew together, we grew up together.
Right.
Like, as teenagers, like, you know.
And
we
everybody
know-
had the idea of
Yeah.
the story and how it's supposed to
How
happen.
it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody that I know, she know. Everybody she knows, I know.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, form, or fashion. You know.
Right.
And that spilled over to things that people would say to me, and then I'm not from the same area, so
Right.
people they don't know how to take me, you know. And so they would tell me, so I'm like, well, you know, I used to tell him all the time, there's two sides to the story,
She
you
always
know.
said that.
You know, and it's
Even
funny
when I was
because
being immature trying to alley, I did everything right.
yeah,
And
You know my side of the truth,
I
PJ.
was.
We
I
were
know the
okay.
truth. I know
She
who made
she
you
wasn't
do
just
all
that.
knew.
that. I know all of that. Yeah. I believe Ebony.
Because some
I
of the stuff-
stand with her.
Because
Thank you.
some of the stuff I was trying to embellish upon, she already dealt with me,
Yeah.
so she knew that I was.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
She was
So-
like, it might not be all the way accurate.
Yeah.
That sounds a little weird.
Right,
but
right.
okay.
Yeah.
But I'm honest.
So for you, I think that's important that you did acknowledge what she had to go through.
She had to endure a lot.
You know, in contrast to what you were able to kind of like the way you were
I can
able
brush
to
it off,
move.
that wasn't here.
Yeah. And no one made you accountable, so therefore you were living on cloud nine, and she going through the trenches.
Yes.
You know.
She was.
They
So
were mean.
That was
I
a
can
good
imagine.
recognition.
I can
Like,
imagine. That's why I had to come in here. I'm like, you know what? I do care. Like, I know it doesn't look like I care. And at times, I've been mean.
and you know, you don't have to tell anybody else. You have to tell her, because
Yeah.
what the people see is how you do treat her, right? And so you don't have to tell them.
No, that's why I sat in the car and I told her. I said,
Yeah,
look,
we had that
this-
conversation.
See, this is what it is. This is what it is. And from there, we've been good.
And that was healthy.
Yeah.
It was much needed too.
That's
Yeah.
healthy
It was healing.
because-
It was
yeah,
healing.
It's
You know.
healthy and it's a healing process because, like you said, you can't even imagine that.
I can't.
I definitely can't.
Mm-hmm. You know, we have so many broken families in our community. I think it's easy for us to just kind of accept it and let it go to waste.
Because it's the norm.
It is. It's the norm. I mean,
And that's a bad thing.
who in here has like both their parents and everything was in a beautiful house? Do-do-do. No.
Right.
None of us. I come from a
Yeah,
blended
yeah.
family. Your mom was a single parent majority of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my mom was single parent the whole
we
time.
really don't have, we don't know what right looks like.
Right.
So we don't
The
know how to
blueprint,
get to
we don't have
that.
the blueprint.
You know? And I think we did the work. And we
We did.
still doing the
We
work.
created our own blueprint.
We did.
But that's
We
another
did.
thing that me and Darius got a chance to learn each other. Like, he introduced me to himself, and he was like, this is my story.
Yeah.
And then hearing him, I'm like, you know what? My story is very similar.
Similar.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, man, we not that different. Like, he like, I'm from Southeast. I said, well, I was born in Southeast. I was raised partly in Southeast, but I was raised in Glass Manor for the rest of it. Like, well, my dad wasn't in my life, like my needs. I'm
Y'all
like,
like
Right.
me too.
Right.
You know?
yeah. So I'm like, man, we alike in a lot, in a lot of ways.
And the respect was established. I
Right.
think that was a big
I think
thing.
from the beginning.
From the beginning.
From the
Yeah,
beginning,
I
was
say that
respecting him
too.
from the beginning.
Right.
Even how you introduced him, I think it was different on how I was introduced.
It was.
Absolutely.
So Darius didn't get like, okay, it was you understood when bring it forward. And, you know, Odell was receptive and the connection was made there. So it is important how you introduce that person into the dynamic, you know what I mean? But again, I think the respect between two men, he respects you just as well as I think you know what I'm saying, you respect
Yeah, because when I came in, I seen that he was taking care of his son. So that was established already. That's the respect line right there. So he gets my utmost respect from then on. It was about just that then. You know, regardless of what y'all was going through, he was taking care of his boy.
Yeah.
And that's where it started with me.
That's all I wanted.
We ain't had it.
Right.
That's what I wanted.
We definitely didn't have it. Me and Derek, we didn't have it.
I mean, I did, for my stepfather's care, my father wasn't around, and I don't think, what we do know collectively is how important the father aspect is.
Definitely.
No matter if you're a boy or a girl.
Exactly.
That presence is important, and so when you impede on a child having that, the effects are real.
Right.
You know, and we get it because people will easily say, well, why is Lil going here with his mom, or why is he? That's his mother. You know what I mean? Like, it's just as important for you to have a presence and have a relationship with them.
But you understand how that's not normal?
Right.
If a person say, what? Why would you do that?
Right.
They're not used to it.
But I want to establish this as the norm. I want this
Right.
to be
Like,
so,
that's
why
our
we're here.
blueprint.
yeah, so when I talk to people, I talk to guys and they like, well, my baby mama tripping. Like, yeah, have you seen your son? No, I ain't seen my son. Why? My baby mama tripping. I like.
That can't
I
be
know.
a
I know.
reason.
I no longer allow people to tell me that for that to be the reason.
Right.
Because
And you
it has
should.
to be accountable.
I'm like,
Yep.
so who is old girl you talking to? Oh, it's John I met. So the same way you finagled her, the same way you was all smooth with her in the club, talking to her, wooing her, have that same level of conversation, not the same way, but have the same approach with your baby mom.
Yeah.
And talk to her, let her
Yeah.
understand that, you know what I'm saying, I know I've messed up.
Yeah.
But that takes a man to have accountability.
Yeah.
Right.
And most guys don't
And
wanna do
respect a woman. Like I tell
Yeah.
Odell all the time, what a woman needs is different than what a man requires. Men need respect, be respected. Women, no matter what the relationship is, need to feel hurt and need to feel love. And that, when you feel hurt, that reciprocates love in some capacity. You know what I
Right.
mean? So if Odell's not allowing you to talk, then you feel shut up. You know what I mean? You don't
Right,
feel
right.
included. You don't feel like I birthed them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you don't feel
it.
considered.
And then it's an automatic competition. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yes,
you
too
know,
much.
So it's understanding on both parts. So I think communication, accountability. Did you want to add something on what you think brought us to this point, like a key factor, or not to put you on the spot?
I mean, we already said it. It was just talking it all the way out.
Not giving up.
And
That's
that was
not
key.
giving
And I'm gonna say you played a big part in that too, because you kept calling.
I did.
You kept
And
calling.
hold on, but to
Kept
say
calling.
something, you remember one time you was talking, I said, I'm not talking to her. I'm
Oh,
done.
yeah.
I don't want to talk to her. I don't like her, and that's that.
She kept calling.
She kept calling.
Well, it doesn't keep going.
I was like, you know what, forget it. Let me just be her friend.
Look,
'Cause
she do
she
me
really
like
cool
that.
though.
She do me like that.
Right.
I don't want to talk about it no more. She said, I'm going to talk about it. And she bring it up
to
again.
be honest, let's go a layer below that. You didn't want me to call because you didn't want to feel it. You didn't want to acknowledge some of the
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
Nobody want to go
I
through
wanted
that.
to do you like I was doing him.
Yeah.
Right.
Like our backs, whatever. He
Yeah.
don't say nothing, I don't say nothing.
Yeah.
You,
I'm
no.
not letting that.
But she wouldn't let me do
She
that
wasn't,
either.
she wasn't having it.
No,
No,
we
she
are
wasn't.
one happy family.
Yes.
Like we really have what it takes, and a lot of people do.
Yep, they
because
just
it's
don't know
usually
they
one
do.
thing that you are assuming that when it was things that you said to me, and I was like, damn, Abby, I didn't even consider that. Like when we had that long conversation, so I had to say, who do I think I am? Who
remember
do
you
I
told
think
me
I
that.
am that I'm like,
To
well,
take
why
that
should-
position.
Yeah.
Right,
Why,
right.
you know, it was times where I needed to fall back. I do accept that I was a glue in some aspect, but my job was not to continue to hold y'all hand and hold y'all through. I had to let go at some point
Right.
so that you guys can come forward. You know what I mean? I think that helped us know where we stand and where we,
And patience, you know, because I got a lot of patience, so that's what it was
Yes.
also.
I mean, because
I-
I'm not going to
I
point
had to
who
tell
doesn't.
her. I had to tell her.
Our
all the
point.
time, look,
Because
just be patient with the situation.
me and her so
Yeah.
much alike. I think
Yes.
both, like you two coming into the situation made it so much more easy. than what it was initially. Because me and her get frustrated and like, I forget it.
Yeah.
We're done with it.
That's
and then PJ had to fight it all between the two of us. She had to fight her, she had to fight me. So when you came into it, and you can fight her, and she can fight me, and you can make her calm down, and she can make me calm down,
Right.
and then we can re-engage.
Right.
Then it was good.
Yeah.
I think now we're at the point now where we're like, you know what? Mad about what?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No need.
But we had to have the patience to keep going and trust. You tell me all the time to trust the process. So
all this was a process.
And
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Look where it got us.
yeah, and I definitely,
We on PJ podcast.
yes,
Seriously.
right. Like, oh my God, I just thought about that.
Yes,
It is
this
like,
is yours.
oh, it make me cry. But I wouldn't have this, and I've always felt like because I was part of a blended family. I don't want to. I wish that my parents loved me. I don't want to say loved me enough, but understood what they could have done, how they could have supported me.
Right.
And I wouldn't choose to do it with nobody else. But to be able to stop a generational curse.
Yes.
And hopefully Lil O understands, not just Lil O, Tony, Riley, our cousins, our family, our friends who see it, that it's worth it.
Right.
That it's worth putting in the work, because when we're long and gone, he's gonna have 15 families, you know what I'm saying? All these grandparents, all this love, and just what it does, and how long it took me to get to a place to not question some of the things that I hope he doesn't question.
No, we got a lot of females in this thing.
Yep.
He got Michelle, he got a sister on that side. He
He got some
Tony,
work.
Then he got
Riley.
Brian.
Yeah.
Then he got both of y'all.
I know.
And then he has a big head brother,
So that.
a little nephew, you know. So it comes together. And our kids, we don't use the word step.
Right.
You know,
Sister.
it's family. Like
Yeah,
that's my
that's it.
sister, my brother. And I tell Titus, and you can go over your other mother house at me house. You know, so
Ready to.
He welcome. And
Yeah.
I know he do. He like my house.
so it's important. I can't say thank you enough to show the gratitude that it was times where I gave up. You didn't. You didn't. I know you didn't.
never
Fred.
did.
You know what I mean? You didn't. You got on my nerves a lot, a whole lot. But if you didn't push me to not give up when times where it was comfortable for me to give up, you know, it's not just one person that got us here. One person is the reason why we're here, but it's not one person that's keeping us together. And I think we're gonna stay connected past, you know, way past just things with Lil, you know. He's getting older and
We lost him for life.
yeah, we're family.
Exactly.
Can't mess up dope.
We're
We
dope
gotta plan
family.
this trip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Once we
coming.
move back.
Yeah, we gotta redo what we messed up.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Out of the
were in
country
DR
mess.
and we
But we
just
got a long time to fix it.
we do. Me and Emily are already planning the trip.
Yeah.
We are.
We got this.
And it's genuine. I
Let me
mean,
know the
it's,
weather so I can know what I gotta wear.
oh my God.
I want to pick up my outfits.
Like you said, there's so many other things in the world that's going on. And the last thing I know with our family dynamic, with Odell being in the military, I try to consider the fact that he goes away to war, he does certain things, and I try not to, I try to make sure that our house is a safe place for him to come back to emotionally. And I think that has spread for us, period. I want when you feel a certain way to talk to me, you as well. Odell, he don't have to, but
And that's one thing I told Odell too during one of our talks, that the structure is right there.
yeah.
You know, it's right there. So for the kids to see all of that, I didn't really have that type of structure.
No.
2 moms, 2 dads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't lose with the
No,
kids.
you can't.
Okay.
One parent can't teach him how to drive. Y'all can't. Okay, he already said that. So it's gonna have to be Darius. It's gonna have to be
You already
Darius.
established we got the patience and y'all to it.
You
It's
know,
not me.
he picks up little things from all of us. From all of us.
He
He'll
does.
bring, and that's good that he doesn't have to, because at one point, he didn't feel comfortable saying, oh, well, when mommy did this, or when Priscilla did this, or blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, oh, for real, like we can laugh.
Yes.
Right?
I hated
You know?
him feeling that way.
Yeah. Because we felt it. We felt it. So,
Yeah, she used to always complain about that.
yeah.
She
Because
really
that's
didn't like
teaching
it.
him to be a
She really
chameleon.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
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 Be one way with them, one way with us. That's
Yeah.
just too much.
I'm
Yeah.
just being himself.
Way too much.
Keep it real.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for being here, for sharing, for being my dope ass blended family. And hopefully what we're able to share and capture in this moment will help someone else out there to not give up, to be accountable. Men, stand up.